Hey guys, so we have bought a milk machine and I just wanted to go over with you guys. We've had it for about 2 weeks now and we've been using it twice a day with the girls. About a month ago, actually, we bought this machine. This is a Caprolite Herdsman. The brand is Caprolite. The version, I guess you would say, is Herdsman. They have the Herdsman and the Showman. This is the bigger model. And we've got the double inflation, so we can milk 2 does at a time now, which is very nice for us. You know, as far as getting the does in and out, it's a lot quicker doing it with 2 at a time.
With the standard 3-gallon bucket.
Yeah, and we just got the standard 3-gallon bucket. Like he said, there are larger versions available. But right now we're getting 2 gallons of milk at a time, so 4 gallons total from 6 does. So the 3-gallon is working fine for us right now. If in the future we need to upgrade, we figured we would do it then. Yeah. Dylan and I wanted to go over what we like about it, what we don't like about it, and whether or not we think it was the correct purchase to make. So first, let's go over the pros, Dylan. So first of all, it has really saved our hands.
Yes.
You know, before we were starting to get carpal tunnel in our hands, milking 6 does a day, especially one of our does, Razzle. She is really hard to milk. So we've already noticed a big difference. I don't have any pain in my wrist anymore. Do you?
No. In speed, one of us can milk 2 does while the other one's finishing chores outside. Yeah,
that's what we do in the afternoons. In the mornings, I do everything still because obviously Dylan is at work. But in the afternoons, I do the chores outside usually, and he'll be in here milking the does. So we get done in about 30 minutes, whereas when I'm doing it by myself, it takes me a whole hour. So that's really nice because before, he was milking 1 doe, I was milking 1 doe, and we just split the chores outside. So yeah, definitely speed as far as that goes. Now, I will say though, if you're doing it by yourself, it doesn't really speed you up too much on the amount of does that we are milking. In the morning times, it took me an hour before we got the machine, and it takes me an hour still now. And that, like I said, is milking 6 does. I feel like if we had more to milk,
even 8.
Yeah, I mean, even 8 probably, it would definitely improve the time. The biggest thing is cleaning it, which we'll get more to that in a little bit, but I feel like the girls act better with this for the most part. You know, they're not as kicky. They honestly took right to the machine. The first day or 2, they were kind of nervous with it. But other than that, they have, you know, acted like it doesn't bother them at all. Whereas hand milking, especially with does like Cami doesn't like me to hand milk her, but with the machine, she doesn't care.
And all of our does are stand trained already, but I feel like if you had a new one, it would be even easier to stand train them.
Yeah. Yeah, because I feel like for some reason they don't mind the inflations. Maybe it's because it's actually sucking instead of squeezing. Maybe. I don't know. But I definitely feel like there is a difference in how the does act with this. I was very surprised that they took to it like they did. And, you know, we didn't have any problems out of them, really. Another pro that I wanted to say is that, you know, this company, Caprolite, the owners are pretty local to us. Jason Porter, he is the owner of Caprolite now, and he's just 1 state over from us in Mississippi. We have shown with Jason many times. We know him. You know, I trust him as a human being, you know. So I feel like if we had any kind of issues with this machine, we could just get up with Jason really quick, really easily, and he would be able to help us out, no problem. And for me, that was a really big selling point. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's what we like about the machine. So now let's talk about what we don't like. What would be your number 1 thing that you don't like about the machine, you think?
Cleaning.
Yeah, cleaning, definitely. I feel like that takes the most amount of time, and I don't feel like it's anything from the herdsman itself, the Caprolite systems, I feel like if we had any other kind of milk machine, it would be the same way. So that's definitely not a fault of theirs, I don't think, but just the extra time that it takes to clean the hoses. You have to have buckets of water, which if we had a sink in here in our milk room, if we were, better equipped to handle the machine, then it probably wouldn't be too bad on us. But having to haul buckets of water in here, it's not fun.
No. No, not at all, because we have to haul it from the goat's field into here, so.
Yeah, and we're hauling 2 5-gallon buckets twice a day, doing that. One with soap in it and one with just plain water to rinse it all out and everything. And definitely we're getting our workout with it, but I would prefer not to have to do that in 80 degree, 90 degree, 100 degree soon to be weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Cost.
Okay, let's go over price. It was, how much exactly was it? Do you remember?
$2,360 some odd dollars.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, definitely the Caprolite systems are not very cost efficient if you are on a budget. There certainly are cheaper milking systems out there, but I do believe that with the Caprolites, it's kind of, versus the other machines, it's kind of, you get what you pay for. I have heard really good things about these systems. I have known people that we show with who have had these for years and years, and they last, and the parts are easy to get. So yeah, it does cost a lot. It is a lot of upfront cost, but in the long run, I'm hoping that will be worth it, especially, if it's saving our hands and our wrists and we're not having to pay doctor bills or anything like that. But yeah, definitely it is a little bit of sticker shock.
And we did get the double inflation for 2 does at a time. Mm-hmm. It's cheaper if you get the single inflation.
Yeah, there's different options that you can, customize it to meet your needs. You can get a different bucket. You can get bigger buckets. There's 2 other options, and there's different types of inflations. There's a smaller version of this where it doesn't even hold the bucket. That's called the Showman. It's also by Caprolite. But we're usually using ours here on the farm, not at shows, obviously. So we wanted one where the bucket just sits on there and you don't have to haul that around. You can just have the whole complete unit and just, it's got the handle on it, so you can take it wherever you need to.
And wheels, so it'll just load straight into our show trailer.
Right. And that way you're not having to pick it up, because it is kind of heavy. It weighs
60 pounds.
Yeah, it was like 50 something, somewhere odd poundage. So it's definitely not light. I wouldn't want to pick it up, so I'm very glad that it does have wheels and the handle to move it around with.
Another con are the hoses, and you're going to have that with any milk machine, I feel like. It's hard to keep them organized. We try our best. We've tried different layouts, having the machine back here facing the does. We've kind of settled on having it between them right now. It seems to be the easiest, with each hose going towards each doe. But they get tangled up. You kind of have to redo them about once a week after moving it around so much.
Yeah, because you're taking these inflations and you're moving them constantly, and you're cleaning them, you're putting them in your buckets and things like that. So they do get twisted, and there's not a whole lot of room to hold the inflations up here at the top. That is definitely something that has driven me crazy, is I tend to drop the inflations on the floor, and then of course they get dirt and whatever else is on the floor, so then you have to clean them again. I wish that was better. I wish there was a better way of keeping the hoses organized, but like Dylan said, I do feel like with any milk machine you're probably going to have that trouble. But at the same time, I do like how it's pretty straightforward and simple, the parts that go into this. There's not like a million little pieces that if you have to take it apart to deep clean it, you're not having to completely put it back together like a jigsaw puzzle. It's pretty easy to figure out how you need to. And then again, Jason has YouTube videos on the Caprolite YouTube channel where he shows you exactly how to put it together, and we put it together in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
You know, from the box to having it down here with the doughs in 30 minutes time.
Yeah, it's mostly assembled already. It's just putting the handle on the machine and then attaching all the hoses, and that's really all there is.
Yeah, he does a lot of the work for you before you ever get the machine, which I really liked. It made it a whole lot easier on us. There's not too much of a learning curve. It took us maybe 3 days, would you say?
Yeah.
To really figure out how to work the machine. It took about 3 days for the doughs to get used to the machine. And I feel like since then, the last week and a half, we've been running pretty smooth with it.
Yeah. Even we're changing the layout of
Yeah.
the milking room twice now.
Yeah. I mean, they're used to the sound now, so it doesn't even affect them. And sound, that is another thing. It's not that loud. You know, we're in a very small room. This is, what size would you say this room is?
8 by 10.
8 by 10. I mean, it's not very big. It's probably smaller than our kidding stalls outside, to be honest with you. And it's completely enclosed. There are no windows or anything like that. So sound really reverberates in here, obviously. And I feel like this machine is not too awful noisy. Let's see. I mean, that's what you got. You can hear me talking over the machine. I don't have to scream. I'm not yelling. You know, I feel like I thought it was going to be a lot worse than what it was.
Yeah, and we play music when we milk, and you can still play music and hear it perfectly fine.
Yeah, yeah. The does seem to prefer the music in between the machine going on and off. I have noticed that if we don't play that, then they get antsy in between. So, yeah.
Speaking of the noise, another con would be the heat that it makes. It gets hot in here.
Yes. Again, with not having any windows in here, by our third string of doughs that we have in here, our last few, I'm usually pouring sweat in the mornings.
And it is temperature controlled in here because it's in our basement.
Yeah, it's in our basement, so there is some of the air conditioning from the house that gets into here. So it's not, you know, it's like 80 something degrees this week outside. So it's not that temperature in here, but usually by the time we get done milking, it's better if you open the door to outside. So it does get warm. Interested to see how it does in the winter though, and if it actually keeps us a little bit warmer in here. So, yeah, so that's kind of difficult. That would be easily remedied also if you had a ventilated area, or if you were able to open a door or something. I'm not gonna do that just for the little bit of time. Like it takes like 30 minutes to milk, so. I just kind of suffer through it, but yeah, definitely the heat is a thing. All right, so the big question now is, after 2 weeks straight of using this machine, do you think it's worth it?
I think it is. I'm a little towards the middle on if it is or isn't. It was a lot of cost. You could do a lot with that money, but I do appreciate my hands not hurting in the speed of the afternoon chores when it's both of us.
Yeah, and for me, I would echo the same statement that he made. It is a lot of cost up front, but I feel like if this saves our hands and if it lasts for 15, 20 plus years and we never have to buy another machine, I think it will be worth it. There is a lot to like about it, and also, I feel like, you know, if we have more doughs in milk, because next year we will probably have more, I would assume. So if we have more doughs in milk, we might appreciate it more.
Yeah.
For any herds that are smaller than ours, if you were milking for 6 doughs, less than 6 doughs, I would say don't get a milk machine right now, honestly. 5
or less, I would rather do by hand.
Yeah, I feel like it would be quicker with the cleaning speed and everything to just hand milk.
And I think if we were milking 10, it would be way more worth it.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, almost double the doughs. I mean, I couldn't imagine how sore my hands would be by the end of that. So I think it's gonna, you know, really come down to, you know, what is your budget? What are you able to spend? What is your herd size? And, you know, what physical limitations do you have? Like, are your wrists hurting, or are you in perfect health and you could do it, all day long? I feel like those factors would really determine whether or not you get a machine like this. But for us, I think in the long run, it will be worth it, and I'm glad to have it. Thought of another pro. Another pro is not only is it helping my wrist, but it is also saving my sanity, because when it comes to milking does, especially the first fresheners, they act up a lot on the sand, and I don't have the patience to deal with them sometimes. And I feel like with the machine and it not being like a living being, I don't have to have that stress on me. If they're kicking and whatever, which they haven't done, but if they were to do that, I feel like I wouldn't care as much because they're not hitting me and they're not acting out towards me. It's all the machine, and as long as they don't break it, they can do whatever they want to. They're still going to get milked. So I do feel like it is helping my mental health.
I would say so.
You would say so. All right, guys. So that is our review of the milking machine, and I have a couple of clips of us actually using it on the does to kind of show you guys it in action. A cowboy?
No, not really. They just have a ring plan. They have their prices on it.
So we've got a lot of stuff coming up. If you guys want to follow along for that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And make sure if you enjoyed this video and the review of the Caprolite Herdsman, please like the video and comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on it. Do you have a machine that you like? Do you prefer another brand? Do you have this one? You know, tell us your thoughts. Until next time, I guess that's all we have.
Yep.
Yep. All right. So see y'all guys later.